With GMF financing to qualify buyers, excludes Traverse and Corvette, excludes prior sales.
Why wait for Black Friday when the biggest Black Friday sale is going on now all month long at Bennett Chevrolet, where you can save up to 20% and more on your new vehicle? Because Bennett is selling new vehicles at $1,000 below, yes, $1,000 below the real GM supplier employee price. Plus, you keep all the rebates, saving you up to 20%. But of course, there's more with available 0% financing. Looking for you? Bennett's giving a minimum $10,000, a minimum 10 grand for your trade, no matter its condition, towards any pre-owned in stock. Imagine what you'll get for a good trade if Bennett's paying a minimum 10 grand for total junk. Bennett's deals are unbeatable during our Black Friday sales event, and there's never any hassles or sales pressure because our non-commissioned sales staff is paid on your satisfaction, not how much you spend. The best Black Friday sales going on now at Bennett Chevy, Egg Harbor Township, and BennettChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Home of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Thank God I'm up,
Sixers.
Bang! It's good! Ball game!
And Flyers.
Just in front of the net!
97.3 ESPN. WENJ. WENJ HD. Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey. This is Game Night with Josh Hinnick.
It's good!
On 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
And he's cool!
Now live from inside the Ocean Casino Resort Studio. Here's Josh Hinnick.
Josh Hinnick here on a Tuesday edition, counting down to Thanksgiving here on 97.3 ESPN. Ravens defeat the Chargers last night. You heard the game right here on 97.3 ESPN. And we'll do some of our first looks at Eagles versus Ravens, which will be this Sunday. Mel Reese, Mike Quick calling all the action starting at 4 p.m. on 97.3 ESPN. Also, I want to get into a little bit more of what makes this 9-2 Eagles different than last year's 10-1 Eagles. So, all that and more. Josh Hinnick live in the Ocean Casino Resort Studios. We'll talk with Andy McNamara coming up in less than 20 minutes from now. More about NFL recap Week 12. First look at NFL Week 13 with the 3 Thanksgiving Day games. By the way, you can hear all 3 Thanksgiving Day football games right here on 97.3 ESPN FM, and you can hear the games on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, streaming for free thanks to First Bank of Sea Isle City. So we got you covered on football all week long. And, you know, I really want to get to some of the points about this Eagles team because I'm really getting tired of this narrative about what makes this team different than last year. And I've noticed more and more that, and I really try not to be reactionary when it comes to social media. I really do try to be level-headed with a lot of stuff. But I got to tell you guys, when it comes to people just repeating the same narratives, I do lose a lot of patience. I will fully admit this. I lack patience for stupid. Okay? And I think that there is a contingent of people, and I don't think there's a lot of them. It's a small group. Okay? I think there's a small group of people who are just very loud on social media. They're very loud on certain media platforms. And they're so loud that it feels like it's a lot more people than they are. And I'm so glad that the issue was addressed by 2 former NFL players, that being Chris Long and Bo Allen on the Greenlight podcast. Because, you know, one of the conversations that came up was about the differences between last year and this year. Now, there's some obvious differences. There is the fact that you have, just to use one example, obviously, Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley is an obvious difference from last year to this year, right? You have a situation where you look at the defensive coordinator and the offensive coordinator. Both of them were not here last year. So those are some obvious ones that we can all point to. But there's a greater point to be pointed to when it comes to maybe something that we haven't talked about enough. And I really haven't thought of this personally, okay? I didn't, in my own mind, think of this when this was a topic of conversation. And that being, how about the quarterback? Think about that. Jalen Hurts, since the bye week, has not been turning the ball over. Remember, he had that streak where he was either fumbling the ball or throwing interceptions every single week. He had a run where he was almost at 20 straight games where he had thrown an interception or fumbled or lost a fumble. That is a crazy streak. And we already know that we're talking about a guy who is not exactly the most excitable individual in the world. But listen to what these two former players had to say about the Eagles quarterback and one of the differences between last year and this year's Eagles team.
They just looked so comfortable and so good. And then post game, Jalen Hurts smile when he's getting asked about Saquon. It's like,
The smile, dude. I
Yeah,
feel like
he's
something
got that
happened with
cool-
Jalen over the past month of the season where he was like, you know what? I don't have to be out there like a CEO in every post game interview. Like, I'm going to just have fun. I'm going to loosen up.
Think about that for a minute. Jalen has been smiling a lot more lately. You're seeing him more happy than he was in the past. And I don't know if anyone necessarily got to him in like the literal, like someone sat him down and be like, hey, Jalen, you got to enjoy life a little bit more. You got to loosen up. I don't think that literally happened in that sense. But I do believe that if the quarterback, the leader of the team, is out there having fun and that he's having a good time, there's a strong possibility that everyone else is having a good time as well. There's a legitimate possibility that everyone else out there is enjoying themselves too. And maybe it's more than just Jalen being happy. Maybe it's the idea that maybe Jalen Hurts is projecting something with the entire team. That the entire team is just in a better state of mind than they were last year. Because remember, there was a lot of reporting we've talked about here on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennig hanging out with you on a Tuesday night. We heard a lot of reporting in the offseason that the players were unhappy with the coaches last year, that the coordinators were bad at communicating, that there were a lot of issues in that organization behind the scenes. And there was a perception that some of the players who are no longer here, some of the coaches who are no longer here, that they were problems. They were cantankerous. They were basically fueling a negative environment last year. So now it's more than just, well, Barkley's here instead of DeAndre Swift. Well, it's no coordinators. It's the quarterback is exuding something different in public than we've seen in the past. More from Chris Long in the Green Light Podcast on what is difference between last year's team and this year's team.
Brought me this like war horse from New York from in the division, and he just galloped in, and now like everything's easy. Like have some fun. I love the way these guys are. They're 9-2 now. They were 10-1 last year, Bo. How different does it feel?
Mm-hmm.
It feels totally different.
Talking about how those guys are having fun. I wrote the article on 973ESPN.com about how you had CJ Gardner-Johnson ad-libbing a song about Cooper DeJean on the bench a couple of weeks ago. You're seeing when Kenny Gainwell scored his touchdown on Sunday night, who was the first person to greet him and celebrate with him? It was Saquon Barkley. You're looking around and you're seeing Kellen Moore pumping his fist on the sideline when the Eagles score a touchdown. You're seeing A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts doing the celebration that for the Prince of Bel-Air, right? You're seeing all these different little moments for this team. And, sometimes just having fun at your place of employment just makes all the difference in the world. People like to talk about, you should love what you do. You're so, for example, I'm very fortunate to have this job here at 97.3 ESPN. But like anybody in my position, not every day is going to be happy-go-lucky. But when you have more good days than bad days, right? When you have more positive days than negative days, it allows the job to be more fulfilling. And so I think for the Eagles, it's the same idea. Sure, these guys love football. They're grateful to have these jobs and being paid millions of dollars to play a game. But now they're also enjoying it. And I think that is the side of the conversation that does not get talked about enough. The idea that you are now having these men, okay, going out there, like Saquon Barkley is saying he's having the most fun he has had playing football in years. So it's not just the Eagles players who were here last year, it's guys who were coming to the team this year. So, the next time I hear somebody say, oh, what's the difference with this team? I'm just going to go back to what former players are saying. These are guys who have been in locker rooms. Chris Long played with 3 different organizations. Bo Allen played with, I believe it was 2 or 3 different organizations. So these are guys who have been around the league. They understand what players and the vibes are like in and around locker rooms. And if they're saying that they see a difference, I don't understand why this message is being propagated by these negative Nancys who just can't say anything positive. And, for the anti-Nick Sirianni crowd, think about this. I saw this stat come up last night, and it made me laugh a little bit. So, because Jim Harbaugh lost last night, because Jim Harbaugh could not beat his brother for the 3rd time, Nick Sirianni now has the best winning percentage of any active head coach in the NFL. Just think about that for a moment. Now, we're not saying that he is better than Andy Reid. I'm not suggesting that I would rather have Nick Sirianni than Mike Tomlin, right? I'm not sitting here saying that John Harbaugh doesn't have a better resume than Nick Sirianni. I'm not saying any of those things. What I am saying is maybe there is something to the fact that this coach is winning games. These players are enjoying going out there and playing with each other. And now Nick Sirianni has the 5th best winning percentage in NFL history at 43-19. Maybe it's time to stop complaining about stuff and maybe start applauding and respecting what this team has done thus far. And in the spirit of Thanksgiving, let's be thankful that at least one of the teams of Philadelphia knows how to win games and not choke away their existence every night. Let's get some text before we hit the break at 609-403-0973. Your DMs into 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City. Dan EHT says, have a happy Thanksgiving. Josh Jalen was playing injured last season. Some players can play through injury well, others cannot. It's obvious to me, he says, that Hurts didn't have his escapability last year. He has his strong legs back again this year. Very valid point, Dan EHT. When you're injured, when you're playing hurt, when you're not at your best, maybe you're going through health problems, it does impact your day-to-day ability to do your job, right? If any of you listening on 97.3 ESPN had to go to work with a sickness or an injury that impaired your ability to do your job effectively, right? Maybe if you're someone who sits in front of computers all day long and you have migraine headaches, or if you're somebody who works with your hands in construction and you broke your wrist, right? Obviously, it's going to impact your ability to do your job. It's going to mess with you mentally. So, yeah, maybe Dan EHT, there is something to Jalen being healthier this year than last year. And happy Thanksgiving to you and your family as well, Dan in EHT. Also, we got Tom in Margate chimes in at 609-403-0973. He says, Josh, the very vocal minority of fans don't respect or even credit Jalen Hurts for his excellent play or his leadership or the fact that the entire team loves playing and enjoying right now with their quarterback. Plus, I think the Eagles are getting themselves set up for a deep run in the playoffs this year. He also says happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well, Tom and Margie. A couple things there. You know, we made the comment. I saw it on social media last night. I had to retweet it at Josh Hennig on the Twitter X platform. I mentioned about how you look at guys like Lamar Jackson. You look at guys like Baker Mayfield. Players seem to want to play with them, right? And part of it is because they're football players as much as they're quarterbacks. And I think that many times the reason why guys like A.J. Brown want to play with Jalen Hurts, or Saquon wants to play with Jalen, or a Derrick Henry wants to play with Lamar Jackson, right? Or different players want to play with Baker Mayfield. It's because these guys are such good teammates that the players are bought into them, even if the fans are not bought into them. And sometimes leadership is as much about getting your guys on board than it is anything else. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter that people outside the locker room like you. Again, go back to your job. Does it really matter that anyone else likes you if you're good at your job, if your coworkers like you? You could be the most hated person, okay? Let's say you are a lawyer. You could be the most hated person in the legal profession by everyone except for your coworkers. If your coworkers love you and they will go to bat for you and they will support you and they want to work with you and they think you're the best, that's all that matters. Who cares if everybody else outside the building thinks? Everyone else outside the building can hate you. And I think that's the same vibe when it comes to these players with the Eagles. All right. More football talk with Andy McNamara next. I'm Josh Hennig. This is Game Night on 97.3 ESPN FM and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Josh Hennig live in the Ocean Casino Resort studios. Don't forget to go to the gallery, go for the win at the Fanatics Sportsbook inside Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City. It's going to be a fun football season. We're winding up. We got rivalry college football this weekend, Eagles versus Ravens on Sunday, and of course, all the college football bowl games. You want to go check it out at the Fanatics Sportsbook inside the Gallery Bar booking games. Go to Ocean, go for the win. For more information, visit theoceanac.com. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Wake up weekday mornings from 6 to 10 a.m. with Unsportsmanlike on 97.3 ESPN with Evan Cohen, Super Bowl champion Chris Canty, and Michelle Small. Can't wake up without it. Brought to you by the Gallery Bar Book and Games at Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City.
Score a touchdown when you bank with Jersey Shore Federal Credit Union. Catch lower rates on loans and higher rates on savings. You'll cheer when you don't have to pay a penny to get your own money since they offer 85,000 surcharge-free ATMs. Get the details or open an account online with just a $25 minimum deposit at JerseyShoreFCU.org or swing to a branch in Northfield, Galloway, Hamilton, or Rio Grande. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues? Who are you? Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
The holidays are here at the Home Depot. If you're working on getting ready for company,
a lot of company,
make sure you're ready with Black Friday savings. Get up to 40% off select appliances, plus up to an extra $1,000 off select kitchen appliances. Upgrade your kitchen with top brands like GE Profile and get sleek cutting-edge appliances to make sure you
got hosting handled.
Yeah, you do. Get Black Friday savings now with free delivery and financing on select appliances this holiday at the Home Depot. Offer valid November 6th through December 4th. U.S. only. See store online for details.
This is the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network.
Progressive Insurance presents the Sports Flash on 97.3 ESPN. NBA, the Sixers back in action Wednesday, hosting the Houston Rockets. This will wrap up a 3-game homestand. The Sixers are coming off Sunday's loss to the LA Clippers, a game they played without Joel Embiid and Paul George, and both will be game-time decisions on Wednesday. Philadelphia has lost 6 of their last 7 games. The Flyers heading to Nashville Wednesday for a 1-game trip where they'll take on the Predators. The Flyers are coming off a 5-4 shootout loss on Monday to the Vegas Golden Knights, blowing an early 3-0 lead. They have now lost 3 of their last 4 games. NFL Week 13, the Eagles will be in Baltimore Sunday. They'll take on the Ravens. This game featuring the top 2 running backs in the NFL in Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry. Barkley leading Henry by 67 yards. Eagles have won 7 straight. They're 9-2 on top of the NFC East. The Ravens are 8-4. They win Monday night out in Los Angeles, beating the Chargers. I'm Tony Desiri, and that's your Sports Flash on 97.3 ESPN.
For 75 years, Jenkins Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning has been the name you trust, where one call does it all. Jenkins expert technicians have been delivering top-notch service to local homeowners. Renovating your kitchen or bath? Call Jenkins. Need a new heating or air conditioning system, service or maintenance, or even ductless air conditioning? Jenkins has you covered. They also specialize in water heaters, boilers, oil service, plumbing and drain cleaning, water line, and sewer main repairs or replacements. Call 609-641-6262 or visit jenkinsandsons.com today.
From the Towns for New Jersey Info and Weather Network, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dan Zarrow. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving Eve, huge getaway day, and the weather will cooperate. It'll be cool, but dry and fair. Mainly clear skies tonight, calm winds, cold temperatures, low around 37. Tomorrow we cool down to 51 with sunny clouds and dry weather, but Thanksgiving Thursday, a different story. Periods of rain throughout the day. It'll be cloudy and pretty cool, high of 55. Get weather 24/7 wherever you are. Download our free mobile app today.
I'm Merrill Reese for Mike's Seafood Polar Bear Run Walk for Autism in Sea Isle City. The Mike's Seafood Run Walk for Autism has been promoting awareness and raising funds for special service schools and families of special needs children. Come join over 5,000 participants in the 5K race and the Family Fun Walk, followed by a great after party. Join us in huge heated tents where there will be great food, unbelievable door prizes, and the awards ceremony. The party is not just for the runners and walkers, it's for the entire family. They'll have clowns, superheroes, and face painters for the kids. For more information or to register, go to polarbearrunwalkforautism.com. That's polarbearrunwalkforautism.com.
Mike's Seafood Run Walk for Autism is Saturday, February 15th at JFK on the Boardwalk in Sea Isle City. Registration is from 9:30 to 11:30. Run walk starts at noon. That's Saturday, February 15th at JFK on the Boardwalk in Sea Isle City. Any day you could do something for children with disabilities, it's a good day.
This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
I am Josh Hennig, and don't forget, I will be, Ravens, Eagles. It's the most loved and hated birds by my next guest. Yes, the team with a bird that he appreciates the most and the team with the bird that he hates the most. You know who I'm talking about. It's the host of the Sick Podcast. It's Andy McNamara. He's back here on 97.3 ESPN. Welcome back, ornithologist. Andy, how you doing?
Go Birds! The good birds, the eagle birds, the one that highlight the greatest nation in the world, the United States, not that garbage-eating, poetry-reading, rat-infested bird. Oh, the Ravens can't stand him. Now you got me riled up already. I'm doing good, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing well. I thought that'd be a good way to intro.
That was good. So. It's very true as well. I love Eagles, and I do hate Ravens and and the football team.
Folks, you don't understand. I get a message from Andy once a week or once a month, at least, maybe once a week, where he's like something negative at the Ravens. It's to the point where Lamar Jackson could find the cure for all sickness and disease. And all Andy will probably say is if he just didn't play for the Ravens.
Yeah, I would be like, he could offer me a cure to a disease. I'm like, I'm good. I wouldn't give him the satisfaction of saving me.
Wouldn't give
him the satisfaction. You sent me this great. It was this night. He sent. It was this bracelet to this little girl, cutest little kid.
So for those this little girl, she came to a Ravens game. her favorite player is Lamar Jackson. Apparently, like, our parents went to Louisville or some stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, so like there's some like legitimate connection there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so she brought a bracelet she wanted to give to Lamar Jackson. And Lamar saw her, left what he was doing, ran over her to get the bracelet, took a picture with her. The girl's crying, blah, blah, blah. And Andy replies back to me, just like, dirty birds.
Yeah. Although he still sucks. That's fine. Hope it. Yeah. Anyway.
So, but let's get into this, because the Ravens did win the game last night, okay, on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
And, you know, I think a lot of people thought that game was going to be a little closer than it was. And I think what people are trying to figure out, Andy, is, if we're being objective, what are the Ravens at this point? Because that is a team that I genuinely would thought would allow more points last night without Roquan Smith out there.
Yeah.
Well, apparently they either John Harbaugh has the answer for Jim Harbaugh because he's 3-0 against him, or maybe the Ravens defense is a little better than we thought.
I was thinking about this earlier today, and objectively, I honestly think we almost have to put this in its own separate category. It was an impressive win. Chargers almost came back, not quite, but I think it's a case where these two brothers obviously know each other very well because they are brothers, but they're also super close, and they apparently talk like every week when they're not playing each other. So
right.
it's gamesmanship. They talk football all the time, so I think it's like a game of chess and gamesmanship. And John just got the better of Jim again. So I still think the same problems remain with the Ravens secondary. And really for both teams, it's just, look, this is just a very unique situation where two brothers are coaching against each other in the NFL. And, you know, John got the better of it this week. I think if we see another team come in, we're still going to see that Ravens secondary exploited if the team they're playing has, you know, decent quarterback.
Well, you just mentioned exploited, okay? So we know the Eagles are among the league leaders in total yards this year.
Yep.
Right? I have to pull up the numbers. They might still be number one. I'll pull it up now. But Andy, going into this past week, did you know the Philadelphia Eagles had the most total yards in the NFL, but they had the fewest pass attempts?
Really? Now, how does that work? Oh, I guess because of Saquon.
Right. So right now they're third in the NFL in total yards. Okay.
Yeah.
But they're still last in the NFL in pass attempts. The Eagles have totaled only 288. They're the only team in the NFL that does not have at least 300 pass attempts. So if you're telling me that the Ravens, okay, the Ravens are a team that can be taken advantage of in the passing game, well, if the Eagles don't pass it enough, can they take advantage of them?
Well, I'll say it this way. Is that a case that they don't think Jalen Hurts and the passing offense can do it? Or is it because Saquon Barkley's been so damn effective, they don't need to do it? And they're taking advantage of Saquon's spectacular year. That's an interesting question. And I'm fascinated to see now how that plays out, because it is a spot you definitely want to exploit. Do we try to see the Eagles maybe try to push the ball downfield a little bit more? I would certainly expect them to test out and try Saquon Barkley, make the opponent stop your best weapon. But this is an Eagles team with Jalen Hurts, where I think that's a good thing if you're an Eagles fan, because that means you haven't been forced to overpass. You have not been forced to really open up your entire playbook necessarily with that few pass attempts. But we've seen that Jalen Hurts can do it. You have the weapons to do it. So that's a very good question, and I am very interested to see how that goes now, because they should, but is Saquon so damn good right now that, again, they don't need to?
Andy McNamara joining us here on 97.3 ESPN. Now, with that being said, I will also admit that if you look at the teams, because the Eagles have thrown the fewest pass attempts in the NFL, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you look at the 7 teams with the fewest pass attempts this year, you ready for the list?
Okay. Yep.
Eagles, Steelers.
Okay. Yep.
Cardinals, Chargers, Detroit Lions, Green Bay Packers, Minnesota Vikings. Andy, what do all 7 of those teams have in common?
Let me think. I'm trying. Great. I think if unless I'm missing a name in there, I like all their running games. I like their strong running game.
Part of it. They all have strong running games, and they are all, if the season ended right now, playoff teams.
Yeah, and you know what, Josh? That's a point that I'm glad you brought up because it's been eating away at me. The fact that now we've seen the flip. We've seen the flip. The NFL is so cyclical. Just nothing stays forever. 2007, the Wildcat. No one's going to stop the Wildcat. Yeah, then they did in 2008, and then it was over, right? And then it was, okay, well, everyone's passing. No one's running the ball. You can get a run back in the 6th round. And so then you get people were getting lighter, smaller, faster linebackers, secondary to keep up with all the passing. Well, NFL teams, the defensive coordinators are pretty smart. And they say, well, okay, now hold on a second. I got a whole bunch of little zippy guys going around back there. What if I go old school and get a powerful running back and just smash them over and over, smash? And guess what? The teams you named are doing that in a variety of ways, and it's working, and it's working well. What drives me nuts is the Browns were ahead of the curve and did that last year, and they were like, no. Let's go back 2 years. Let's go Deshaun Watson, empty formation in the back. Let's spread it out. They were ahead of it, and then they outthought themselves. All those Ivy League punks drives me nuts. But I think that's what we're seeing. NFL teams are taking advantage of, hey, you aren't going to stop us from running it. How about we then try to run it a lot, and it works.
And what's also funny is you just mentioned, all the teams that signed running backs this offseason, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Packers signed Josh Jacobs. Aaron Jones went to the Vikings. Joe Mixon went to the Texans. Saquon Barkley goes to the Eagles. I mean, the only guy Derrick Henry went to the Ravens. Like, all of these guys are on winning teams now. And you have to think about, is that the other side of this trend? Is it that now teams are going to start looking at the running back more as a value and less of we'll just find a guy in the draft?
Throwing. Yeah. And again, with this trend, I want to see this year in the draft because I think we'll start to see the switch. Do we start seeing running backs start to creep up a little bit more? Because let's face it, it does depend on system. We've seen this for years. The magic of the Shanahan system, good Lord. Put anybody, it seems, back there. Doesn't matter what the round, they're going to be good. But ultimately, you do want some star power. So if that's the trend, which it should be because it's working, do we see running backs start to creep up in the draft? Also, alternatively, do we see the type of defender being drafted change? Like I said, the quick, zippy little guy going back there, does that fall away a little bit to the thumping linebacker, right? The big safety, whatever.
Well, really quick, look at college, right? Who are the 2 top Heisman favorites? They're not quarterbacks. Travis Hunter, who plays defensive back and receiver.
Yep.
And then you have Ashton Gentry, the running back from Boise State. Like, no offense to the other guys, but Quinn Ewers, he's had an okay year. Shedeur Sanders, he's been outshined by his own teammate, Travis Hunter.
Right.
You look around college football, like, who else is going to play? I mean, Will Howard's had an okay year, not a great year. So it's like, maybe this is part of the pendulum swing, right? It's that we're now in the era of, hey, it's less about the quarterback and it's more about the dudes around the quarterback.
Right. And this is something I want to keep an eye on. And I don't know if it'll kick in this year or at all. But have you noticed that the quarterbacks coming out, and it's rare, but that played a lot of college games, and we have a little bit more of that because of the COVID years, are actually having more success quicker in the NFL. Look at Bo Nix. Come on. We're coming out this year. Like, Bo Nix was like, all right. Right? Yeah.
6 years.
6 years. He can almost be a doctor. God's sake. Go get your medical degree. It's
exactly.
But like you see okay, guy has 2 good flashy years and comes in. But the ones that actually play a lot are coming out, and that Bo Nix example, and now you're seeing like, well, maybe there's a value there. Maybe instead of rushing these guys out, and Tom Brady brought it up at the beginning of the year, You're bringing these guys out of college systems that don't equal the NFL, and they're being ruined. But maybe if you are at a spot that, it's not going to be totally NFL, but maybe a little more pro style, you play a bunch of games, then you come in, you're more ready. And you mentioned the name Will Howard, not the sexiest name, not going to be at the top of I don't even know if he's going to be a first round pick. Probably not.
He will be. There's always a desperate team.
Yeah. You think he'll pop in there with the bunch?
He's going to be this year's Bo Nix.
That's what I was thinking, because he's played so much, a bunch of different teams. I got to really start, because the funny thing is, I almost don't like. I watch him because of Ohio State. I'm a Buckeyes fan, so I watch, and I'm like it's like yes, no. But I feel I can say that for all the quarterbacks. Any of the other games I watch, I remember the weekend I was in Cleveland was the big Texas to Georgia game, and I'm like Quinn Ewers and Carson Beck, let's go. I'm like, what's this?
Carson Beck is a fraud, by the way.
I am totally with you. I think Carson Beck is a fraud. I think Quinn Ewers is Derek Carr, which might be okay.
I think Quinn Ewers is better than Derek Carr. I think he's better.
Okay.
Here's the thing. I have a couple friends of mine who are draft guys, right? One of them is Emery Hunt from CBS Sports. Him and I are boys. And he said to me right here on 97.3 ESPN months ago, he said, Carson Beck is not a top 5 NFL prospect. He called it before. Right. And by the way, Emery's also the one who called Lamar Jackson to be an MVP in the NFL. He's also the guy who called Jalen Hurts should have been a first-round draft pick. So Emery
just like us.
Something.
We were in on that one. We were in on that one, damn it.
My point is that if that guy is saying about Carson Beck, it kind of gives you an idea that Carson Beck is probably going to be he's a system quarterback. You know what I mean? He's a guy who is really good because he's been in a system for a while, not because he's uber talented.
Has an elite trait. Here's the thing: when I look at the top guys, do they have an elite trait? That's what drove me nuts. Let's say about Mac Jones coming out.
Yeah,
he had nothing elite. Nothing. He wasn't elite in height. He was a great
model. He's a great model with cars.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, he had no elite anything. And I'm like, well, why is that a first round pick? Not elite, but nothing was elite. So that's what stands out. I would love to know his thoughts on Will Howard, because I am you know how it is, Josh. If you're a fan of a team, sometimes you get a bit too close and you get muddled your proper perception of what the guy is. But my thinking is, where does he go? And I wonder if he could be a fit for a team. Maybe if he drops in the first round, depending where he goes, and the others go higher, maybe that's a spot where he could go to the Browns. From what I see, I think he could be a nice fit into Kevin Stefanski. He's big-bodied. Now, you got to get away from the Deshaun Watson nonsense ideal of building a team that way. But if you get in a play action, that seems like a Shanahan system type of QB. Play action role, big guy, can move a bit. Athletic, can get out, big body, and chuck it. I'm not saying he is Justin Herbert, but you know what I mean. It's kind of that bigger body frame guy.
Andy McNamara joining us at AndyMC81 on the Twitter X platform. I think that's part of the conversation when it comes to quarterback. We don't talk enough about the why guys are successful. It's because they fit into a system. We all talk about the Tom Brady's the greatest of all time, right? But even Brady has said multiple times that if he didn't get drafted by Bill Belichick, he doesn't know if he becomes the quarterback that he does, because he said, Belichick gave me a legitimate chance when no one else would.
Yeah.
And you look at right now with Bo Nix right now in Denver. Jalen Hurts, he's had success only 3 times in his football career. It was with who? Lincoln Riley, Shane Steichen, Kellen Moore. There's something to be said for if you got the right guy in your ear. And you mentioned Stefanski. Listen, this guy, the only quarterback who can't play for him is Deshaun Watson.
Yes, exactly.
Almost everyone else has been productive on some level.
Josh, everybody that's PJ Walker. He's not even in the league.
Right?
He's not in the league. Does any of your listeners remember PJ? XFL guy.
Yeah.
Dorian Joe Flacco. Hello, Jameis Winston. Everybody but Deshaun Watson. So that's why I think if you can combine a college quarterback that has enough game experience with the proper system, that's the new model of success in the NFL. But as we know, Josh, they get thirsty. They'll reach and they'll grab for any QB. and they'll pop him in. And if it doesn't work, like look at Carolina, you screwed Bryce Young. Now I don't think he would have worked anyway because of his height, but it's a case where, all right, well, their thinking is, we'll take the quarterback. Doesn't work, take another one. Doesn't work, take another one, and you just keep funneling.
That's also because of the owner. The
owner
is
he's not.
He is so impatient.
Oh, but I'm talking about multiple teams though. Look what Arizona did. Remember Josh Rosen?
Yeah.
Kyler Murray. That's the thing. It's so impatient across because ownership and the league is so impatient. So if that rookie quarterback doesn't look good, then if you want to keep your job, okay, get another guy. Or a new regime comes in, they get their guy. And you keep going until you get you luck out. You get Jaden Daniels. You get Jalen Hurts. You get your guy. You got Bo Nix. And if you keep missing, you keep going. And that's what it is.
You're the you're the Chicago Bears.
You're the Chicago Bears.
I will say, I think Caleb Williams does have talent. Okay,
I do too.
think he does have talent.
Bad situation though.
It's just it's a weird situation.
Yeah.
Like Andy, let me ask you this, because you are a guy who covers the Browns. You've been a Browns fan for years, so I think you're the best person to ask this to.
Okay.
If anybody knows about the conundrum of the quarterback, it's Andy McNamara and Browns fans. Caleb Williams has gotten better since Thomas Brown started calling plays. But who in their right mind is going to keep Matt Eberflus as the head coach of that team?
Exactly.
So, how do you handle a situation where, okay, we finally found a guy who's working for our number 1 overall draft pick, but can you hire a new head coach and say, but you got to keep his offensive coordinator, or do you risk bringing in another voice? So then this guy would have 3 different OCs in less than 2 years.
Oh, that's Josh. We know that's a recipe for disaster. You can't overcome that. And you're right.
You're a Browns fan. How many times have coaches ruined your quarterbacks?
All of the times.
Except for Stefanski.
Except for Baker. And then they screwed him in the end, too, after he did well. Yeah. And the thing is, I'm telling you, you are so right. And I've seen it. You have too many voices. You have Derek Anderson, 2007, comes out of nowhere, plays great. Oh, we drafted Brady Quinn. They put him in. He stinks. Derek. Oh, you changed coaches. Brady Quinn stinks. Right. And you keep going in that cycle. If you go to a third, that's the magic number where 3 and you're out. Caleb Williams is screwed if that happens. Now, I think if you bring in an offensive head coach, no way you're telling an offensive head coach to keep this guy. Now, if you bring in a defensive-minded guy, maybe there's a case for, okay, hey, I want to focus on the defense. I'm a head coach. I'm going to let this guy. This is working. I think,
for example, if you're the Bears, do you go hard pursuit for Belichick?
Could go Belichick. What about Vrabel too?
Either one. But I mean, I'm just mentioning Belichick because
Belichick's gonna bring in his own guys. Then you're gonna get this stupid Matt Patricia, McDaniels, Joe Judge on special teams.
I gotta be honest. I think Patricia's done in the league.
Oh, he'll worm his way back in somewhere. You know
so?
It. Oh, if Belichick gets another job, he will be
think
something.
Belichick is making new connections in this media world now. I think he's making new friends and stuff like that. There's
outside his comfort zone.
Yeah, I think for the first time in his life, he's meeting and talking to new people.
Rather than the ones he started with the Giants and the Browns and
right.
The same guys. Yeah, I hope so. Patricia, yes. If he gets another job, if I'm the owner and I'm interviewing Belichick, I'm like, none of your guys, none. You can bring one of your sons, just one. That's it.
Well, his one son, the DC at Washington, is good.
He's doing good. Yeah. But he's not leaving Washington, I wouldn't think. Unless you let a lateral move.
I mean, who knows? I mean, do you
if I'm Washington, hell no. I'm not letting him out if I like him.
Sometimes you don't have a choice with these guys,
But now I believe the rule is if it's a lateral move, you don't have to grant permission.
Yeah, but from college to the pro. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, look what happened. Did you see the news today? North Carolina fired Mac Brown.
I saw that.
It's like, why?
You know what? I heard, funny side story, and maybe I was thinking this because it was college. Maybe it was a booster. And the reason I say that is because Eric Metcalf, all-time great Cleveland Brown, 89. Don't know if you're listening, but I got to a few shows with him in Vegas and all that. He's a great guy.
Isn't he the uncle of DK Metcalf?
No, he's not.
They're not
Misconception.
related?
No, not related. He says, I wish I had DK size. Metcalf's generously listed 5'9".
Oh, okay. Got it.
But he's the best. I love the guy. But in any case, he said he went to Texas. He was a track and football star there. He said, Andy, there was a booster who went in, hated the head coach for Texas, whoever it was back when he played in the mid 80s, and said, I want this guy out of here. And they're like, get out of here. You're a fan. He said, and they said, we just signed him to an extension. They said, the booster said, I will pay the penalty and his salary and XXX, but you get rid of him. Josh, the next day, the guy was fired. He said that was the power of boosters. I don't know if it can still be that way, but this guy hated this coach so much.
Yeah.
He hated him so much, he paid the bill. He fronted it to get the change. So there's all sorts of crazy behind the scenes stuff. So who knows?
Yeah, it was either Fred Akers or David McWilliams.
One of those guys. And Eric said, he's like, yeah, he was gone. Imagine that in the NFL. Some fan is like, I hate him. But he's so wild.
Listen, the book is called The Price. It's by Armin Katayan. It's one of the books I read this year.
Oh.
It's juicy about how some of these people, their hands are involved.
Interesting. I'm not surprised. Like the money, maybe with NIL, it gets a little different now, but.
Oh, it's even more complicated now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because like there's stories in there about how I'll say this before I let you go. Mike Locksley was coaching with Nick Saban at Alabama. He gets hired at Maryland, and he's trying to explain to these people, Andy, about how he's like, look, if you want the best players to come to Maryland, you got to pony up money for the facilities. And they were like, what?
So yeah, you need money and lots of it, and crazy fan people with money.
Yeah,
that's the main thing.
There's literally 2 chapters just on Maryland football and the fiasco over there. Like,
interesting.
The book is wild. I highly recommend it for you.
Okay.
You'll be reading this and you'll be like, dude, what on earth?
I got to give that a shot. You know what? I kind of want to go tonight and just start watching like college QB tape now. You kind of got me. You kind of whet my appetite. I feel like it's like combine season. I'm like, okay, get the notebook out. Let's start diving in.
At AndyMC81 on the Twitter X platform, the Sick Podcast. Like, subscribe, wherever you get your podcasts. What you got coming up on the pod, Andy?
Well, it is out actually right now. So after this fine show, go and watch on YouTube the Sick Podcast with Andy McNamara. I have a Thanksgiving feast of fantasy football here because, Josh, the turnaround is so quick in week 13. We're coming off the bye. 3 games Thursday and we go. So I have Laquan Jones from NFL Network. He jumps on with me and we just dive in. Waiver wire pickups, guys you might not even have heard of who can pop into your lineup, not just for this week, but going on. So check that out, Fantasy Football Frenzy there, and then we're live Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern.
There it is. The Sick Podcast host Andy McNamara joins me each week during the football season here on 97.3 ESPN. Andy, always appreciate you jumping on. Happy American Thanksgiving to you and yours. I know Canadian Thanksgiving was a couple of weeks ago. So
it's in October, yeah.
Yeah, so now it's United States Thanksgiving a month later. So.
Yeah, and I get, you know what I do? I have a tradition. I try to take the day off, and I get a big old pizza. And I watch football all day. It's tremendous. I love it. Happy Thanksgiving to you and all the listeners, too. Enjoy.
Thank you, my friend. Take care of yourself.
Bye-bye.
Josh Hennick here in the Ocean Casino Resort Studios here on 97.3 ESPN. We'll wrap up the Power Hour on the other side.
This is South Jersey's official home for Philadelphia Eagles football. The Eagles continue the 2024 season this Sunday in Baltimore against the Ravens.
Here comes the rush. They've got him again!
Yeah, this offensive line cannot block the Eagles.
Pre-game coverage starts at 3 p.m. with Merrill Reese and Mike Quick calling all the action starting at 4:25. This is the play-by-play home of the Philadelphia Eagles. 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's Eagles station.
With GMF financing to qualify buyers excludes traversing Corvette, excludes prior sales.
Why wait for Black Friday when the biggest Black Friday sale is going on now all month long at Bennett Chevrolet, where you can save up to 20% and more on your new vehicle. vehicle because Bennett is selling new vehicles at $1,000 below, yes, $1,000 below the real GM supplier employee price. Plus, you keep all the rebates, saving you up to 20%. But of course, there's more with available 0% financing. Looking for you? Bennett's giving a minimum $10,000, a minimum 10 grand for your trade, no matter its condition, towards any pre-owned in stock. Imagine what you'll get for a good trade if Bennett's paying a minimum 10 grand for total junk. Bennett's deals are unbeatable during our Black Friday sales event, and there's never any hassles or sales pressure because our non-commissioned sales staff is paid on your satisfaction, not how much you spend. The best Black Friday sales going on now at Bennett Chevy, Egg Harbor Township, and BennettChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
The holidays are picking up at the Home Depot, and so are the savings. Don't miss store-wide doorbuster deals starting Friday at 6 a.m. in-store only. Get top-of-your-list quality gifts at our lowest prices of the year, like a Ryobi 1+2 toolkit, only $79.88. Or go all out with festive decor, like the 2.5-foot LED elf Minion Stewart, a team player in any holiday display, for only $39.98. Don't miss doorbuster deals coming soon to the Home Depot. Starts November 29th while supplies last.
The best call to make on game day is ordering catering from the Piccalilli Inn. For parties big or small, the Pick does it all. Your guests will be cheering for the Pick spin on football favorites like pulled pork nachos, cheesesteaks, burgers, and their award-winning buffalo wings, tails, and ears. Get your chicken wing fix on Route 206 at the Piccalilli Inn. Join the flock and follow the Pick on Facebook or at Piccalilli.com for their Pick game specials. And be sure to pre-order to guarantee your spot in Sunday's lineup.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Whatever you love, find it on eBay. eBay. Things people love.
I need a new car. Under 20 grand? Okay, well, what's my trade worth? You know what? I'm going to Matt Blatt Kia, where I can get some straight talk.
Brand new Matt Blatt Kia Forte LXS, under 20 grand. That's right, a brand new Kia, just $19,999. With any trades, that's less than most used vehicles. Currently buried in a loan or lease, Matt Blatt Kia wants to get you released and into your new Kia with 0 down, 0 payments until February, even 0% for 72 months on every clearly marked new Matt Blatt Kia in stock. So bring any trade, because if you have a job clearing $450 per week, we want to get you approved today.
It's gotta be a Matt Blatt Kia.
With approved credit, 24 ED9, $13.89 per thousand finance. Not all will qualify. Credit and down payment. Offers can't be combined. Go to MattBlattKiaFJ.com for complete details. Or 888-505-6670. Price includes all costs to be paid by consumer, except for licensing, registration, and taxes. Repaying and rebates and incentives to dealer. Expires 12/4/24. Matt Blatt Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township, and on Route 37 in Toms River.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective. A clue.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent.
Aha.
So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle. Tide cleans better than the leading competitive free detergent, and it doesn't leave behind irritating residues.
Plus, Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on her skin.
Case closed.
If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide Free and Gentle.
Hi, it's Pete from Chickie and Pete's. Wrap up your workday with the all-new Chickies and Pete's Happy Hour with unbeatable specials weekdays from 4 to 6 p.m. Enjoy half-price orders of Chickies medium tender wings, one of our tasty and delicious pizzas, or an order of mouth-watering hot, cold, or fried shrimp. Plus $3 domestic bottled beers, $5 Tito's, and $6 seltzers. It's the all-new Happy Hour, weekdays 4 to 6 p.m. only at Chickies and Pete's. Hi, it's Pete from Chickie and Pete's. Now, for a limited time, it's buy one, get one free snow crab legs every Tuesday and Wednesday. Buy one, get one free, and enjoy the sweet, delicate flavor of snowy white crab meat. Pair it with one of our handcrafted cocktails like the Stoli Vanilla Creamsicle or the Bourbon Peach Sweet Tea. Top it off with Chickie and Pete's world famous crab fries. Buy one, get one free snow crab legs every Tuesday and Wednesday for a limited time. Restrictions apply only at Chickies and Pete's.
The the official Eras Tour book, coming to Target on November 29th, featuring over 500 photographs from the tour, including never-before-seen performance and behind-the-scenes images. And for the first time, the Tortured Poets Department, The Anthology, with 35 tracks on CD and vinyl.
Only at Target.
Go to get your game on at the Gallery Bar Book and Games at Ocean Casino Resort. Cheers your favorite drinks while cheering on your favorite team. Get in on the parlay while in the middle of a party. Go for the sports scene and go for the endless screams. Go to the Gallery. Go to the Fanatic Sportsbook. Go for the win at Ocean Casino Resort. For more information, visit theoceanac.com. Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and on the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Before we get out of here, I'll do a deeper dive into the Eagles-Ravens game and all the NFL games on tomorrow's show. Before we get out of here, I just want to say, you know, I was talking to a couple people about this off the radio. I wanted to bring it up here. There is nothing better than when you are a sports fan and you get to enjoy the game. And it's the complete opposite with the Sixers and the Flyers. You know, the Flyers have become the fun team to watch. They might not win every game, but they're interesting. They're exciting. They got young players who are playing hard. And the Sixers look like they are lost and confused. They have no interest in even being on the court. And I think that for a lot of people, they got to remember who are in all front offices. It doesn't matter who your star player is if your star player doesn't care to play. Have a great, everybody.
Tired of hearing no? Everywhere you go, we turn no into go during Black Nissan's November sales event. Say no to high-priced new cars. Brand new Matte Black Nissan Sentra S, just $19,999. Say no to low trade offers.